It's bpmgmedia.com. We want to welcome you to our premiere showing of what we call Welcome to the Next Day Scorecard. Got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, right now, it gets up close and personal right here. This is what we call looking at the fights the next day. Those fights that sometimes become a controversy. And at this time, we're going to talk about the main event at the Black Gloves promotion, while you'll see footage of our other coverage of our Black Gloves promotion event. Today we're going to get very specific. A very controversial win or loss, however you want to look at it, whichever side of the fence you're on. And it is about Rogelio El Belicoso de la Torre from Houston, Texas, against one of the area's top prospects, and that is Charles the Future Hadley. If you look over here, I've got my colleague, my friend, my expert. I've got Stan the Man Milburn. And Stan, you know what, as I sit here and think about it, it's great to be part of BPMG and seeing the professionalism that you've shown in yesterday's coverage. Tell me, first of all, the setup of what you did as the chief in charge of BPMG Radio.
Well, first of all, we had the fight covered from 3 different angles. We had the east side of the building, we had ringside, and also we had from up above, right there in front of the ring. And personally, I know for a fact that some of the body shots that Del Toro delivered was not counted in that fight, because he definitely won the first 2 rounds of that fight.
Wow, I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when I was at ringside, I happened to be the ring announcer, and I was sitting right by ringside, and I've got to tell you right now, I was keeping a lot of people informed of round by round what was going on, and I've got to tell you, right now, Stan, I scored it even. I've still got my Texas. I was sending information down to Houston, some of the supporters of El Belicoso de la Torre, and also some of the area people who are really tied into boxing. And it really kind of brings really something that, you know, it's already been a controversy about how referees are stationed around the ring. I have already seen where there has been a lot of talk about referees being elevated just at either head level or a little bit above, where you can see the punches a little bit more clear. And I think that's something that you're bringing to the table right now, and that's the reason why we're looking at this scorecard maybe a little different now, right?
True indeed, because basically I had the cameras covered from your angle, exactly where you were, and actually I saw where you were sitting. And basically where you were sitting at, well, you could not see a lot of the things that was going on, because you were on one side of the ring along with the judges.
Well, the ropes should become an obstacle for me.
True indeed. I mean, our cameras, one of our cameras was elevated over the ropes. And definitely, when you look at that, you can see everything that's going on in the ring from all 4 corners. We were following them really, really tight, and even I had them closer to being even last night. But as I reviewed the fight this morning, I realized that Del Toro got robbed.
Well, you know what? That's an excellent point, because on the way back from the fight, we went together, and on the way back, we were talking about, really, it was the last, I'm just talking about last night. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. We were talking, without us knowing anything, at about halfway of the last round, that's the 8th round, I get tapped on the shoulder by Reggie, the matchmaker. Reggie, you're listening right now, baby, because you asked me, Roland, how do you see the fight? I'm pretty sure Reggie was thinking, this thing is close. I turned around and I looked at him and I said, there's 1.5 minutes left. I've got to see the rest of the fight. You know what I was saying? What was I saying? It's tied.
Sure it is.
It's going to be the last half of this last round.
Sure it is.
And you even said that up at the top. You were saying what? Charles Hadley pulled it out at the end last night.
True indeed. True indeed. But Charles Hadley definitely pulled it out at the end, the last half of the fight.
Last night.
Last night. He definitely took the last half of the last round.
Okay, Fight fans, I got to tell you this right. I want you to listen real close. You may not know Stan the Man Milburn, but you're going to get to know him. This man is a lover of the sport. He knows exactly what he's talking about. I've not had a chance to look at the tapes, but we're going to make sure those tapes get out from the angle that we took that information. I'm talking BPMG Media. I'm talking .com. You stay tuned with us, because we're going to bring you some inside information. Tell me about the other cameras, what they were capturing.
Well, basically, we had one ringside camera that was right up on him from the west side of the ring.
Okay.
I mean, basically, this camera caught all the inside punches in the ring corners. Okay. And as this camera was catching the inside punches at the ring corners, well, I was above. I mean, we caught it from above and below. Okay, we was catching it from above and below the ring. And so, like I said, from what I saw, basically, Del Toro, he got robbed. Man, I have to tell you, keep your head up. Keep, just keep working for the fights. I mean, Hadley, you're back. You came back in a very good way, because that fight was by far, nothing to be ashamed of, win or lose, okay? Because at first, I was looking at it like, this fight could go either way, but there's only one winner in the fight. There can only be one winner. And so, throughout that fight, basically, it was a good way for him to come back. It was a good return, but unless these judges score these fight cards the right way, I really feel like they're really setting Hadley up to, really for a fight that he's not ready for.
Oh, well, I like that. What I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, as we start looking at each round, I actually saw that 6th round where they went toe-to-toe, and they were working inside. As a matter of fact, I had the good privilege of talking to Ramon Sosa, who is the trainer, the manager, the guy who takes care of El Belicoso. And what he said, that was the fight we wanted. And in the 6th round, I got to tell you, I gave that 6th round, the inside fighting, to Rogelio De La Torre. I gave it to him. Yeah. And I don't know if you saw it like that. There's one of the few guys that could do that, hurt you, going back, knocking you out. And Charlie, you did show a good, massive display of boxing. But I got to tell you, Rogelio came to fight. He came to win.
Okay, he came to fight, but I saw where Hadley set him up, though. Charlie rocked his world, several times by setting him up, and he went for it as he was coming, but he was just an unstoppable bull.
Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what Ramon said, Mr. Sosa, the coach of El Belicoso, and I love calling him El Belicoso, but as De La Torre, what he said, we did eat some punches, we took some massive punches, Charlie, you did deliver them, but he said he didn't think you delivered enough to win, and that's where the discrepancy, that's where the controversy, that's what you call BPMGmedia.com, bringing you the information. We're going to show you, as you've already seen right now throughout this interview right here, throughout this editorial, some of the shots that were delivered. You've already seen them right here. The whole fight, had you been there, you would have been privileged to see a massive war. As a matter of fact, in round number 4, I started calling it a war. These boys were not backing up, and sometimes even backing up, they were throwing some massive blows. Blows that were just, we were going, oh. But the boys put on a great show. What do you think about? I'll tell you what, let's go through the scorecard right here. How about this? I got the scorecard right here, okay? I've got the scorecard right here. And let's talk about this right here. First of all, Judge Aladdin Martinez scored it a draw. 76-76. What do you think about that, first of all?
Well, basically, he was paying attention to the entire fight. Okay, he was analyzing that fight throughout the entire time. He was looking at that fight. When, to me, it seemed like the other judges...
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
76-76. He called it a draw. Now we have Judge Javier Alvarez scoring at 79-73 for Charles Hadley.
No. He had to be thinking about the Greg Hadley fight. I'm talking. I mean, the fight before, he had to be thinking about the Greg Hadley fight when he delivered those scorecards. Because that's exactly how Greg Hadley fight went.
Well, I got to tell you, I know a little bit about Javier Alvarez. He was a 1992 Oscar de la Hoya, whatever team that was that went to the Olympics. He was part of that Olympic team. Now, I'm just bringing you a little bit tidbit of information. Now let's get down to Erwin Sparks. Goes by Sparky. I know him too. 80-72. Every round to Charles Hadley. Tell me.
He's a Charles Hadley fan. I mean, no doubt. I mean, he's a Charles Hadley fan, and that's pretty obvious to score that way. That was totally biased, one-sided. He was there thinking that Charles Hadley was going, he was going for Charles Hadley from the beginning. Okay? If I was to put on a fight, as long as he's judging this way, he wouldn't be judging one of my fights. I mean, I really feel like he did the best he can, but from the angle that he was sitting, okay?
Sure.
And that's it. I'm not trying to bash the judges. I cannot bash the judges because the judges do the best they can. Sure. They judge this thing as fair as they possibly, as they see it, okay? Sure. But like you said, if they were above, a little bit above the fighters' heads, they would have been able to get a better view of the entire fight and I guarantee you the scorecards would have been different and more fair.
It's almost like you saying maybe bpmgmedia.net or maybe send a little CD or something to the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. Let them look at this.
Well, true indeed. But it's bpmgtv.com.
Okay.
bpmgtv.com.
Okay.
You know, it's like they can go to BPMG TV, BPMG Radio, or BPMG Media. They will find us covering these fights.
Okay.
So definitely, we will get everybody that needs to get this fight. Even some of the fighters will get a copy of this fight to where they could look at their mistakes and correct some of the mistakes they made, which I think if there's a rematch, then that rematch will be even a much stronger, tougher fight.
Oh, well, hey, you mentioned rematch. Let's talk about that. I've already talked to both coaches. This right here's the morning after, so within 12 hours, bpmgtv.com has already made contact with both coaches. I'm not saying there's a rematch in the making right now. I'm not saying that at all. But I know one side that lost would love to have a rematch. Coach Hadley said, hey, I might be open to it. I'm pretty sure as professionals, you know, they fight for money. I mean, that's their living. And I can't blame them there. But if there were to be a rematch, who do you think it should be?
Well, I think that the rematch should go down in Houston. I think that if the rematch went down in Houston, you know, I really think that the audience, I mean, you would have a very big audience to come from Dallas to Houston, just the way we had a big audience coming from Houston to Dallas, you know?
Yep.
It's like, it's not a rivalry between the cities. It's just both cities showing love and supporting the fight scene on both sides. Well, and that's what we need.
Well, there is a lot of love for these fighters, and we even love the game itself. The love that we show, I'm going to tell you right now, fighters, is for both of y'all. I'm not going to just sugarcoat this at all. Charlie, we love you. Rogelio, we love you. We love the action you bring. We love the way you keep the sport alive. What else can I say? It's beautiful. I would love to see that rematch. I would love to see if there is one. Now, whether there is one or not, that's not for me to say. Only what we want to see, if anything, is to voice our opinion and see what you guys bring to the ring. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. It was a majority decision in Charles Hadley's favor. Again, 2 judges seeing it for Hadley and 1 seeing it as a draw. And that right there is a barely win.
True.
It's a barely win.
True.
I've got to tell you that. And it doesn't take anything away from anybody other than what we have. What is, it is. How about you want to say any last words about this fight?
Well, it was a great fight, and it's a fight well worth that I would actually pay to see again. And I know for a fact a lot of the fans that was there would pay to see that fight again. And with the controversies that's going on with this fight, and while people, you know, we're allowing people to see parts of this fight, people would love to see this fight all over again. Now here it is, BPMG Media. We are willing to cover the rematch of this fight, and we also have the capability of live streaming. We have the capability of live streaming now, so definitely we can reach out to a much broader audience. And I have to give it up to Black Glove Promotion. I love the fight card that they put on.
Beautiful.
All these kids came out to fight, and I'm telling you right now, Team Hadley, I mean, basically, they're the future.
They're the future. I want to tell you, Coach Hadley, it's Greg Hadley, Sr. I've got to tell you, baby, you bring the action. We show love to you right here. Hey, if any of you are seeing this, go to blackglovespromotions.com. You stay on that page for the moving action. For the moving information, you go to BPMG TV, media, or radio.com, right? BPMG.com, radio, TV, video, whatever you want. You're going to find us to get the moving action. I got to stress that point because we're new on the scene. You're going to see more of us. You're going to see the action, you're going to hear the action, and most importantly, we're going to report it to you as we see it. No hate intended other than the facts itself. It's been a great one.